Greetings DCI, Tony here, and I'm here today to share with you my reflections on a paper published in the Journal of Leadership, Accountability and Ethics, Volume 10, Issue 4, October 2013. The paper is titled Decolonization and Liminality, a reflective process for research as a cooperative and ethical practice. It is written by North American researcher and academic Dr. Julia L. Buchanan, Associate Professor at the School of Business and Management Leadership at the National University in the USA. The paper shares the researcher's journey working with a First Nations community in Canada, the Blue Quills First Nation College on the ancestral lands of the Cree people at Saddle Lake Reserve in Alberta, British Columbia. The research was focused on exploring Indigenous leadership models, as there is, to quote, little in the academic literature that includes approaches to leadership from Indigenous cultures. These views are then excluded from academics and leadership development programs. The paper describes Buchanan's journey to understand the complexities of researching with Indigenous communities, of the ethical and cultural social demands, and of her introduction to an Indigenous worldview and epistemology. She shares insights and references on the process of decolonisation and how it impacted on her, as well as the challenge of moving to a liminal space. Most significant in the paper is her realisation that decolonisation is not the responsibility of the colonised. To quote, I assumed that decolonisation was a process for Indigenous peoples. I needed to be willing to engage in this process, called decolonisation. This paper is relevant to my research for its articulation of the journey of a non-Indigenous researcher where the personal and the professional are one when working in the Indigenous space, and of the vulnerability we must invite and work through. It also affirms the thinking and practice that frames my nominated methods and methodology. Key affirmations include to self-locate as a non-Indigenous researcher in the liminal space, to engage with Indigenous methodologies framed within a commitment to decolonisation, to value deep reflection and action as integral to the process, to privilege Indigenous knowledge within the Western academic model. In closing, I would like to share Buchanan's reference from Reagan. It seems to me that there is this place of not knowing that may hold a key to decolonisation for non-Indigenous people. As members of the dominant culture, we have to be willing to be uncomfortable, to be disquieted at a deep and disturbing level, and to understand our own history if we are to transform our colonial relationship to Indigenous peoples. For it is in this space of not knowing and working through our own discomfort that we are most open to deep, transformative learning, the kind of experiential learning that engages our whole being, our head, our heart, our spirit. Thank you.